What's going on, guys? This is Bruce Matson, your host of the show, Metric Scout Fantasy Football. And we are into the top 18 of our running back rankings. We already covered our top 12 in 2 videos. First set was the top 6 as our top shelf tier. And then we went over the back half of the top 12. I'm giving you 6 more running backs in these rankings. The first 12 went as Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Ezekiel Elliott, Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, Cam Akers, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, Austin Eckler, and Aaron Jones. Again, some of these rankings are going to flip-flop as we get closer to draft season for redraft, but right now, as it's late June, I'm just doing the best I can with what we got. And there's some guys in the early part of this second round or past the top 12 that I feel like can make a push or should already be in the top 12, and I'm kind of regretting not having them in there, but I like them so much. But it is what it is, and they'll probably end up there as some of these RBs slip throughout the offseason. You have to be objective. You have to be able to move your ranks as we go. If you want to catch up on that first 12, check the other videos. I have them linked in the description, and you can just check out my analysis on that. But let's dig in. RB13 is Antonio Gibson. Finished this year as RB14 last year. 6 RB1 weeks. 5 of those weeks came between 7 and 12. Then after that, the toe injury came in. And what I like about him is the situation. Good defense. It's going to have a lot of favorable game scripts. He's a very raw running back. And the team has acknowledged that he's taking some steps forward in his development. And they're wanting to use him more in the passing game. He is a natural receiver. And he has size-adjusted speed for days. Think of David Johnson in his prime, and that's the upside of Antonio Gibson. You ask anybody, any fantasy football analyst, anybody out there, if you ask them if they would be surprised if Antonio Gibson finished the year as the RB1, they would tell you, nah, it's in the realm of possibilities. That's why he's RB13. If not, he should be pumped up higher. If I'm drafting in the back half of the draft and I have the 112, 111, 110, I'm thinking about drafting him with my second pick. I'm thinking of drafting him early because he's not going to come to me in my third round. So you have to make that step up to get him if you want to chase that upside. Another running back from an RB14 who has a lot of upside, who is really good in the passing game, who should be in the top 12. I admit that. But running back is tough at the top. It is just tough. But DAndre Swift is no joke. The dude has the potential to see 80 targets this season. He's explosive. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He's solid in the red zone. The one thing that gives me pause with Swift is Dan Campbell, the offense, and just everything from biting kneecaps to all the weird things we've heard said in the media from this coaching staff. I'm scared that they are just going to mess things up. Just not allow Swift to run, not allow him to get the workload he deserves. I do not want to see that. I do not want this to be a mess. I want him to receive the opportunity he needs because he is a damn good back. One of the most talented backs in the league. And if they give him room to run, he could easily be an RB1 as long as he's healthy. He has that type of talent. And I'm always willing to bet on talent. I'm all in on him in Dynasty. But this is redraft. I want to play a little safe, but I do want him in my top 12. I do want to draft him again if I have one of those late picks, and for my second pick, I still want to go running back. I'm looking Swift, and I don't care if I reach for him. The next running back at RB15, early second round, is another second-year guy. Another guy who had a lot of hype going into the last year, and that's Clyde EdwardsHelaire, running back of the Chiefs. Explosive offense. That offense is always going to give him a fighting chance to score fantasy points. That is the main reason why you want to have him. He had a 10% target share in 8 games. He is fantasy relevant in 8 games last year with 4 RB1 weeks and 4 RB2 weeks. So he was productive, even though people were down on him because they were drafting him at like 101 in some leagues, 101 in Dynasty. The hype was high with him, and he did not live up to that. And now we can get him at a discount this year, which is great. The Chiefs have been working to improve their offensive line. We'll see if that comes to fruition. It looks like this has become a good course for him to develop and become that RB1 that we've been looking for. And with him being at this price point, this is going to be a good deal to get Clyde EdwardsHelaire. I like him RB15. I like him in the top 12 too, but we have so many top 12 guys that we can only have 12 guys. So Clyde EdwardsHelaire is a guy I'm smashing a lot in leagues this year. Also, before we move on, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. I'm here 365 days a year talking fantasy, whether it's on my Twitter, whether it's on my TikTok. I am here for you guys. If you have something you want me to talk about, hit it up in the comments. I'll try my best to accommodate you. But let's move on. At RB16 in my rankings, I have another young guy that has some upside, but his situation's a little bit scary. The offensive line is just torn to shreds, but that's Najee Harris. I look for him to get a lot of volume. A lot of usage in the pass game, a lot of runs up the gut. He may average like 3.5 yards per carry, 3.8, whatever, because that offensive line is bottom dwellers in the league, but he's going to get volume. He's going to get volume in the passing. He's going to get used, and that volume equates to a stable floor, equates to some upside, maybe some goal line touches, and you don't know. This team could just be blowing it wide open with the passing game, and he could be good enough. And his upside is RB1, not the RB1, but an RB1 player, top 12. It's hard to bank on that because the offensive line's been so roughed up, but I can bank on him getting a lot of touches. That's why I have Najee Harris ranked at the RB16, because after that, it's hard to really rely on RBs getting the touches that we need to be consistent. After that, I'm going with another second-year guy. This one, I'm mostly chasing for upside. We saw the athleticism. We saw what he can do in the second level of defense, and that's J.K. Dobbins for the Baltimore Ravens. And this is a lot of chasing for upside here. He had 6 RB2 weeks, 1 RB1 week. Mark Ingram's gone, but there's a chance Todd Gurley's there. They're flirting with him. Might be bringing him in soon. Gus Johnson got re-signed. There could be some signs there could be limited usage in the passing game. Lamar Jackson doesn't have to wheel it down in the flat. He can just take off, so that hurts running backs who catch targets in the flat. That limits Dobbins' upside, or at least his floor. In fantasy, he's relying on the run game, but we saw that burst. We saw what he can do in open field. He has some speed. He can catch the ball. He's got some wiggle, and we should see a transition between his rookie year to his second year. That could allow him to become a high-end prospect, but right now, with him being RB16 on the list, that's good enough. The next running back I got is Miles Sanders. Sanders is another player with a lot of upside. Catches the ball in the backfield. There is some risk. He's sharing the backfield with a lot of dudes. Kerryon Johnson, Jordan Howard, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott. They could all be used in the run game. However, not all of them's going to be there week 1. He had 8 fantasy relevant weeks last year where he was an RB2 or better. So he was pretty solid. The things we got to look for is, can Jalen Hurts hold it down? Can the Eagles run hot? Is Miles Sanders good enough to be a consistent RB1? Can Miles Sanders hold down the fort? If he can provide that upside. He can be that guy for you. And I want to thank you for watching the show, sticking along with me. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Ring the bell, tell your homies, and I'll catch you next time.